What is up, guys? Somg here. I've got a banger of a video for you today. I'm going to lay out for you exactly how I help my clients pull in an extra $20,000 to $50,000 in just 7 days using what I call the RCI method. So if you would like a few revenue spikes in your business here and there so that you can add an extra $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 or even more each and every quarter, keep watching and I'm going to break it all down for you step by step in this video. No gatekeeping, so that you can implement this on your own and start getting results just like this. Now, what the hell is RCI? That's what you're probably wondering. RCI stands for Rapid Cash Injection, and here's what it's done, not just in my business, but in my clients' businesses as well. So I've implemented this myself to make $82,000 right out of the gate with a brand new offer. I've run it multiple other times as well. And in terms of clients, I've had clients just like Max Reeder run this rapid cash injection. He hit over $40,000. He's an energy healing and self-mastery coach. Sarah McBride, a business coach for entrepreneurs, she used it and pulled in somewhere between 20 and 30K. And just this week, while I'm recording this video, I had a message from another client of mine, Trupti Karjani. She's an art business coach, so in the art business niche, and she's used this to pull in an extra $25,000 this week. And so I mentioned 20 to 50K, but this can indeed be done at scale as well. So like I mentioned, I've done $82,000 with it. I've pulled in $61,000 during a 72-hour window another time. So you can really use this at scale. And I'm going to show you the exact strategy, the exact setup, and how to make it all work. So make sure you stay until the end of the video. And first, I'm going to show you what you'll actually need before running this rapid cash injection. A lot of people will give you the strategy, but they won't tell you what you need to do beforehand because there's a lot of things, a lot of nuances that make this work. So I want to make sure I share that with you to make sure it works and explain how and why it all works. Once we've done that, then I'll give you the changes that you need to make in your business and to your offer, the mechanics, if you will. And then finally, I'll give you the systematic approach of actually how to do it. Like, what are you going to do step by step by step? Literally going to take you by the hand and walk you through it. And if you do every single thing I say and follow along, by the end of this video, you'll have your own rapid cash injection ready to go and pull in cash literally by the end of the video. So what are we doing with this RCI, with this rapid cash injection? We're trying to create an injection of quick cash into your business, a revenue spike, if you will. So think about how traditional companies do this. They do it with limited time offers or sales. They'll do it with end of line stock that they're trying to get rid of, or they'll sometimes do it with regular stock with some kind of discount or like a buy one, get one, or other different strategies. If you look around in the real world, you'll see the strategies that are used. But the way we're going to do this, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to take all the people in your pipeline who haven't bought but are still being nurtured and still in the market for a solution. So we're kind of taking some of the strategies that you'll see in the real world and adapting them for the coaching, info, online space. So even though they've been on a call with you or they've explored your offer before, they didn't buy. They're still being nurtured. They're still in the market for a solution. So maybe they're on your social media, maybe they're in your DMs, maybe they're on your email list. And so what we're going to do essentially is we're going to re-offer our services with them, but a little bit differently. So we run an aggressive marketing promotion, but we're going to do this with a twist. Remember, these people, they've already spoken to you or your team. They've requested information in the past, and they are familiar with your offer and the pricing and really what you help people do. So they're not brand new. They're not cold leads. They're already, if you think about this like a race, they're already like close to the finish line. We just want to get them to the end. So your offer wasn't the right fit for them for some reason. They were interested, but for some reason, you just couldn't close. So what we want to do is re-offer it with some kind of change that would be valuable enough for them to pull the trigger. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say everyone's going to buy, but we're just looking for those people who are literally on the edge. They're just right on the edge, and we're doing just enough to push them over. So this could be a discount. This could be more deliverables. It could be more time in the program. It could be a different angle that you're doing it. It could be more done for you elements. So you could be doing some work for the client instead of them doing it on their own. You want to think what would be insanely valuable to them. And again, I'm going to reiterate this. These are not new people. You've spoken to them in the past, they were interested, and they are still in your pipeline, right? So why are they still there? They didn't join, again, for some reason or another. What could that have been? Could that have been time, finances? I don't know. Life got in the way. Maybe they were moving. Maybe they were going through something in their life. I don't know, mate. Maybe they fell down the stairs. Perhaps they wanted to do it on their own. Just something was missing. There could have been many, many factors. And so we don't know what all of those are. However, what you want to do is you want to try and address some of those factors you would know, maybe not them falling down the stairs, but things like the money, the time, there was some kind of belief that they wouldn't get the outcome. You want to address those and make some adjustments and changes so you come back with an offer so good that they can't say no. And if possible, you want to address their specific objection so you can handle all these kinds of things so that they are certain that, hey, this would work for them now. Now that you know what we're going to do, here's how we're going to set this all up. First, what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of all the calls or sales presentations or however you sell, right? DM conversations, etc., that you've had in the past 365 days. If you're an absolute savage, like you might just never take people off this list. You might have people from the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, completely up to you. But I want you to take everybody that you've had sales conversations with or presentations from the past 365 days. And like I said, this could even be people you've made offers to in the DMs or people who have emailed you about the offer, just people you've had that presentation to, they've seen the offer. And so word of warning, you might not want to do, I mentioned last 365, but you might not want to do this with people you've just had a conversation with like in the last 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. You still can, but you want to do it more tactfully because if you've spoken to someone in the last, like, let's say 10 days, and then you give them a new offer, they might take it the wrong way and think, well, hang on, why didn't you offer that to me before? Anyway, that's just a side note. You might want to employ a bit more tactful resources here. And then when you've got this list of all these people over the last 365 days, you've had calls with, sales conversations, maybe signed up for webinar, whatever it is, right? Then you want to see what lines of communication you have with them. So do you have a DM line of communication? Do you have their email? Do you have their phone number? Do you have their WhatsApp? What social media platforms do you have them on, etc.? So you've got all those people and you've got their lines of communication. So now that you have this list, it is time to craft your rapid cash injection offer. Now, this is where you're going to look back to the data. What were all the objections you got? What were the reasons people didn't buy? What were the reasons they said they'd come back later? What made them say they were going to buy, but then they didn't? What would have made it so that they did buy? And what thing would make this now an absolute no-brainer for them? They came to the call and for whatever reason they didn't buy. What would have just literally made it so unreasonable that they just had to buy? And this is why it's so important to track your data and sales conversations, because if you don't, then you wouldn't know these things. So some of these, and you want to think for your own business, right? There's a few, but it could be a discount. It could be more support, like more hand-holding, more one-on-one, hands-on support. Could be bonus calls. It could be bonus workshops. It could be in-person events. Maybe you set up their funnels and emails for them, like done-for-you stuff, like I was saying. Let me give some more specific examples. If you're an e-commerce coach, maybe you literally sit with them, but like on Zoom or in person, if it's close enough, and you launch their first 3 products live with them. If you're a trading coach, like Forex trading or stock trading, maybe you provide access to your portfolio and your positions. Maybe you place their first 5 trades live with them. I don't know, think for your niche. Maybe you bloody tuck them into bed and read them a bedtime story. I don't know. But you want to think about what causes a lot of pain and a lot of friction for people and then remove it. Just bigger picture, this is what it is being a business owner. You're a problem solver. You have to solve problems for people. Then when you have it, then you make a direct pitch. So you solve this problem, even though you've got a great offer, now you tweak it even better. You think, what could you do to pretty much eliminate the risk, make sure they succeed, take all risk off the table? You make that so killer. And then when you have it, then you lead with a direct pitch. And you can do this directly because they're not a brand new cold lead. You already know they're interested in your offer. They've expressed interest before. You've had a call with them or a sales conversation. So it's socially calibrated. If you've never made an offer before and you just go and pitch them, they'll think, what the hell is wrong with this guy or girl, right? But if you've already had that conversation, you're coming back and revisiting it. So it's not like you're coming up to a stranger and saying, hey, this is this. It's basically saying, hey, I know you were interested before because we had a conversation, and I know it wasn't the right time or, the right reasons for you for XYZ reason. Well, that's actually why I'm reaching out, John. We're running a promotion where we actually do all of that, like all of the things that they were concerned about and more. So naturally, you came to mind. I just wanted to see, would that be up your alley to have a conversation and see if this might be a good fit? Boom, beautiful. Look at that, right? Socially calibrated. You are saying, because this was the reason and because that, this is why we've done this and why you came to mind. And again, another little side note, I love these tangents, but there's so much psychology in business. You'll notice my use of the word because. Because is a bloody powerful word. It's justifying, and you're giving the justifications that they gave to you. Anyway, back on track, right? The goal here with this rapid cash injection is to essentially deploy an attack, so to speak, and collect as much revenue as cash as possible. So I want you to think about it like filling up a tank, right? We're filling up a tank with more and more, whatever it is, water or people or everything. And at some point, we're then extracting the cash. That was probably a really rubbish analogy, but hopefully you get the point. We are filling up the tank, filling up the tank, filling up the tank, and then we're trying to extract as much cash and revenue as possible from it. So let's move on to the execution. How do you actually do this? Well, the rapid cash injection is driven by scarcity and urgency. Because think about it, if it's always available, they can buy it any time. But if it's only available for a limited time or a limited number of spots, well, this is it. Now, a word of warning with this, don't be a fool and just give fake scarcity and fake urgency. Not only can people largely see through it, even if it does work, you're going to ruin your reputation. So if you're going to do this, you have to be legit and you have to stick to your guns. And you want to make this a short, limited time window so that there's legitimate scarcity, or cap the spots if you're adding more deliverables that take up your time. Another key thing is that makes it very believable, because people can say, oh, we have 5 spots. No one believes that rubbish. People can say 72 hours only. People don't believe that rubbish as well. But if you have a reason for it, so you have to do this and you have to stick to your guns. So if you're doing capping a number of spots, why? Give the justification. Well, because I'm giving my one-on-one time to build out all these systems for each person, and it takes me about 3 hours per client. I can only offer this to the next 7 people. You could say that. You could say next 72 hours only or whatever, or you could do a combination. Next 72 hours or 7 spots, whichever fills up first. Completely up to you. I like spots. I like amount of time, but you have to give a justification reason as well. So you could push it to the end of the week. It's completely up to you. And when you do reach out to these people, explain your reason for reaching out. Like I said, these people have spoken to you before. You don't have to hide it or tiptoe around it, right? You can be very socially calibrated, direct, and upfront. So when you reach out, you can say things like, because we spoke before, because it wasn't the right time. Hey, I remembered how you wanted X. Tell them, why would it be in their best interest to buy it now? And then state the scarcity and urgency. And remember, not your benefit, theirs. Why would it be in their best benefit? Obviously, we know why it would be in your benefit. You're going to make more money, right? It's pretty cool. But why would it be in their benefit? And you want to do this via multiple channels because you're running this on a limited time. People are busy. Life gets in the way. Or they won't see how good the offer is, or they'll miss out on it. And I hate to burst your bubble. The biggest thing in people's lives is not your coaching offer, unfortunately. I wish it was, but it's not. They have other things going on. So we need to make sure we stay top of mind. And if you've done a good job nurturing, they won't mind hearing from you. So follow up if they don't see the first message or if they miss it. Like, don't take anything personally. And the more your pipeline, the bigger your pipeline is rather, the kind of less needy you're going to be on this. So I recommend building up that pipeline. And so some of the channels I recommend are email, SMS, DM, conversations, retargeting ads if you use ads. You could use stories like Facebook and Instagram stories, but just be very careful with anything that you have that's public facing. However, you have people segmented, right? Phone call is an option too. Just think, how do you have all those people that you spoke with? How do you have them segmented? And you want to make this as personal as you can. So a voice note, a Loom recording, Make it very casual, not scripted or rehearsed sounding. So I remember when I sent one, this wasn't the last one I did, it was a few back. I literally took each person, created a custom recording for them on Loom. I shared my screen, it's very casual, just camera or the webcam. I was going through the screen and I was walking them through the offer. And I'm going to break down a few things here now. So I'm not going to give it all away yet, but I'll show you how I did that. And I just did it on Loom. I did it literally sitting there, had a cup of coffee beside me. I was just going through it. So it was very casual. It was not scripted or rehearsed sounding, and it was personal to them. So you can do this also via other things like email to your whole list. You could do it one by one, or the list of people that have had calls with you, I should say. But I do recommend personalizing it to each person as well via DM, or whether you're using text message, WhatsApp, whatever it is, Loom. And then also adjust this to the size, obviously, of your business and the amount of leads in your pipeline. If you have 10,000 people, you may not be able to do this, and you may have a salesperson do this, or a head coach or an assistant coach. We've got people of all levels watching this channel, but for most in that range, you could do this personally for each person. And the amount of leads in your pipeline. But this is one of the highest ROI activities there is. So I don't want you to think just about automation here. Think about this for a minute. If you spend just 2 to 3 minutes recording a custom Loom video, and you send it to, I don't know, 100 people, you might think, oh, it's 200-300 minutes of my time. So what, mate? This is one of the best ROI activities. This could bring you in an extra 5 to 10K per person. So it's worth it. When you send that voice note or Loom or the customized message, give people the breakdown, give them the offer. Again, remember first the reason why you're reaching out. Give them the breakdown, give them the offer, outline the benefits and the changes, and then direct them to your calendar. It's a very straightforward sale. It's like, hey, this is why I'm reaching out. I know things weren't the best timing or whatever for you because reason. We've actually overcome that reason now. Would love to see if it's more up your alley. Click here and book in. So explain it briefly, explain the benefits and components. And in the case of a visual message, like I said, like a Loom, actually show them on screen. Like, why not use everything to your advantage? Show them the components, or show them what you'll actually do. Show them the things that you might have done for other people before. Show that on screen. And for this, when I book them back into the calendar, I don't even do a regular sales call for this. I just do a quick follow-up. Could be 15, 20 minutes, because we don't need to go over everything all over again. Like in the first call, you took them up to here and they were almost ready to pull the trigger, but they didn't. Maybe you have to back up a little bit, but they know roughly what the thing is and you've sent that. So I do a quick follow-up because we don't need to go over all of it again, but be mindful as well of how long it's been. It might need to be done all over again if you haven't spoken to somebody for a full year, but if it's someone who's been 4 or 5 months, shouldn't be a problem. And again, I want you to pay attention to the psychology of this. The beautiful thing is that they've spoken to you before, they are booking back in for this offer, and they know the pricing and everything. So really wrap your head around the psychology of that. Why are they booking in again? Why would they be doing this? It's to see if it will actually work for them, because no serious person is just going to waste their own time just, booking back in to talk to them. No one wants to talk to a salesperson again, right? They're doing it for a reason. And when they do this, we've seen a lot higher close rates on these calls, because now they're coming not just equipped with everything from the first call. If you've done your job right, you've nurtured them over time, you've delivered assets, you've helped them, they've consumed your content, they've seen your stories, you've sent DMs, you've basically provided them a 5-star concierge service, and now they're booking back in. They clearly want to do business and get the outcome. You just have to make it work for them. And I know some people, some business owners and coaches, they have hang-ups around coming back and making another offer after people say no. First, you just got to get over yourself, right? This is how all business operates. You don't have to do this. You can leave 20 grand on the table each time you do this. You can leave 50 grand, completely up to you. But remember, many of your deals, and often some of the best ones, will not happen on the first attempt. I've had so many clients that have gone on to do miraculously well, have amazing results, renew, re-sign, upsell, and I never would have got those if I didn't come back with follow-ups and re-offers. So many won't even close after repeated follow-up, like your regular follow-up. Some people need this reason to jump. And I've had some of my best clients come in from promotions just like this as well, from RCIs. And when you can sweeten the deal for them, it's even better. So I want you to think about this. You might think, oh, well, I'm giving the offer, I'm being salesy, some people think that, but you're literally giving the client the better end of the deal. No matter what, everybody loves a good deal. I don't need a discount, I don't need a deal. I love a good deal too. So we are just looking for those people who need that, or would say, hey, you know what? This is enough. They're that close to the edge that this pushes them over. I want you to think about when people are close to buying on an infomercial. Have you seen infomercials? I might be showing my age here. I don't know if they still run them, but they're on late night TV, very, very salesy, over the top. And you think, I don't really want it, but you're just kind of watching. I don't know if it's because it was what was on late or they captivate with stuff, but you don't really want it. And then you find out that there's two for the price of one. And you didn't want it that bad, but now it's two for the price of one. Sometimes I've seen three for the price of one, and it pushes you over the edge. That's what we're looking for here, just something that makes people act. And take yourself out of the equation for a minute. What do you think that people do when they say no to your offer the first time around, like on a call or something? Do you think they just say no to your offer and then they give up and say, no, I don't want to solve this problem. Kay's offer was decent, but I don't want to buy it. So I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to give up trying to scale my business. I don't want a business anyway. Obviously, hopefully you get the humor in that, but they don't. Or do they try and do it on their own? Or do they shop around with your competitors? Of course they do the latter. So you might as well make them another offer, because if they don't spend the money with you, they're going to spend it with somebody else, or they're going to buy some other things that aren't going to help them as well, or they're going to try and do it on their own and spin their wheels. And so, a side note, I've even said that like on calls the first time sometimes. I've even said to people, like, what would it take for us to do business together? And then they'll say it, and you can throw something like that in. Again, a little bit off topic, but you could include some of these in your rapid cash injection. And remember, you're coming back to these people. You're not annoying them. Just because it wasn't the right time then, maybe it is now. Like I said, for a myriad of reasons, but maybe they didn't trust you enough. Maybe they've seen more from you now to raise their confidence in working with you. Maybe they've seen more case studies and testimonials. Maybe their situation has improved and they have the money now, or maybe their situation has gotten worse and they actually need to do this. There's a lot of nuance in high ticket offers. It's not always the right time, especially when you're charging like 3K, 5K, 10K plus. Exposure also compounds. So even though they weren't ready before, they see you every single day. They see you on stories. They see your emails. They see your client results. They see your DMs. They see your YouTube videos. It all adds up. If they didn't want to watch, they wouldn't watch, right? And so by watching, they are just getting more exposure to you. They're building more trust with you, more familiarity, and they're getting 1% closer each and every day. So I'm just throwing some ideas out there. I have no idea, right? A million things could have happened to them in their business and in their life to make this a better time now. And let's look at this on a grand scale. Let's say you collect an extra $50,000 with this method. And let's say you do it quarterly. That's an extra $200,000 in lost revenue on top of what you're already doing each and every year. So to put this in reasonable metrics, let's say you're closing at 25% normally, which is a decent close rate. And if you have 40 calls that you're scheduling each month, so 25%, 10 of them buy and 30 don't, obviously adjust this to your own numbers. Over 3 months, that's 90 people who didn't buy. Again, they were interested, and for whatever reason, they didn't convert. Now, let's say 10% of them buy when you run this every quarter. That's 9 clients that you've clawed back. And I want you to remember, this is lost revenue. This isn't a nice to have. This is revenue that should have been in your bank, but wasn't. So on a 5K offer, if you claw back 9 clients, that's $45,000. Big, right? Even if you were to offer a discount, let's say it was 4K, you still clawed back 36K. And on the topic of discounts, I'm not against discounts, but when used strategically, they can be a part of your rapid cash injection, because you have to look at CAC, client acquisition cost, and compare that to your AOV, average order value, and LTV, lifetime value. Bloody hell, I'm really sounding like an internet marketing geek here. But if you can liquidate that into cash, it saves you spending more. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to give discounts. I'm just suggesting it as an option, okay? You could do discounts. You could do more time or bonuses, all those things I mentioned before. And I also want you to remember, this is just on the front end. When you bring those people in, consider how many of those clients, if you've got a well-optimized business, a well-oiled machine, how many of them will spend more in your pipeline over time, renewals, upsells to different offers you have, buying of your one-offs. Maybe you have one-off workshops, affiliate programs that you promote, or if you offer any done-for-you work. Crazy. And so no matter what stage of business you're at, I want you to implement this right away. You've watched this, you've heard me ramble on about it. I want you to bloody implement this. Forget 200K a year for a minute. You might be at that place where you can generate an extra 200K with this. You might be at a place where you could generate a lot more. But I also know we have people of all different levels watching. So I want to ask you, what if this just added an extra $20,000 a year to your business? Would that be worth it? You're not really doing anything extra. It's 20K that you wouldn't have otherwise had, and that is already in your pipeline sitting there. 20K, 50K. To some people, that is really big. That could be your car payment for the next year. That could allow you to invest more into your business, outsource things, and scale up as well. So don't neglect it. Money is money. Even if it brings you an extra handful of clients a quarter, it's bloody worth it. And what I've shared with you here, which you're going to implement, right, is just one of our rapid cash injection strategies. I don't even know at this point. We have something like 10 or 12 more. This is just one of them. So we have a bunch of them complete with SOPs on how to actually execute this, what to say step by step, line by line, scripts, when to deploy it, how to deploy it, the types of offers to craft. And most people just let their deals that they didn't close go to die. And I don't want you to do that, because if you do, they're going to come to me or one of my clients. I'd rather them come to you. But like I said, they will spend that money elsewhere, and I'd rather it be with you. And so if you want my help implementing this rapid cash injection strategy and over 10 more strategies to claw back lost revenue and add an extra 6 figures on the low end to your revenue, there's a link in the description. We can have a chat to see if it would be a good fit to work together inside the Coach Scale program to help you do that. If not, totally cool. Just thought I'd mention it. But this is one of the things that we help clients with. We're very hands-on. And then not just this, we help you implement additional strategies to help you scale to 20 to 100K a month, depending on the type of business that you want to build. So if you want to check that out, the link's below, totally up to you. But if you do even a fraction of what I've just shared in this video, and you're already actively pulling in clients, I'm confident that you'll add at least an extra 6 figures to your annual revenue. Because it's not any trick. It's simply biopsychology and adapting to how humans actually behave.